This video is presented by EA Game Changers. I'd like to thank EA for giving me early access to Madden 22 to create today's video. What's going on, everybody? My name is C4, welcome to my YouTube channel, and we are here kicking off Madden 22 season with our first franchise rebuild. And I thought, what team better than the Chicago Bears to usher in Madden 22 here on YouTube's and here on my YouTube channel. I am a diehard Philadelphia Eagles fan. I was very happy when we selected Heisman Trophy winning wide receiver Devontae Smith in the first round. Didn't want to do the Eagles as my first team in the rebuilds. Maybe more so because there seems to be some questions about the quarterback spot right now for the Eagles. I don't want that video to look dated. So I was like, all right, what was another team? Another team that added a player in the draft that I was like, yes, I want to play with them in Madden. I want to try to bring them a Super Bowl. And it's just hard to ignore unless you're a rival of the Chicago Bears, that when the Chicago Bears selected Justin Fields out of Ohio State, you're like, yes, a team, historic franchise. Dick Butkus, Walter Payton, the great defense of the 85 with, Singletary and all those guys, the fridge. And since then, they've just been starved of quarterback play. They haven't had that elite squad. They've had Rex Grossman and Jay Cutler and Trubisky and all that stuff. But now, getting the elite athlete with a cannon of an arm in Justin Fields, it gives hope to this franchise. And I really, really did feel good for all the Bears fans that were absolutely just vibing on social media when the Justin Fields selection came in. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take control of the Chicago Bears, and over the next 5 years, I'm going to try to build this squad with Justin Fields under center into a Super Bowl contender. So as you can see, Madden 22's franchise hub is a little bit different. It looks different. We got a bunch of different things here going on. I will try to break it down, but ultimately, I don't need this video to be like the full breakdown of franchise mode. I will have other videos dropping in the coming days. Like, for example, we have goals and the new goal system and how you earn franchise stat points. I will be breaking those down specifically in a video. Also, same could be said here from this opening hub, we can look at our staff, and you have coaching staffs. And I'm going to give a little bit of a deeper dive in my opinion on coaching staffs in another video. But as you can see, we have Matt Nagy, and the OC and DC are generated. They don't have I assume licensing or something like that. But they do have talent trees. I'm excited to add this element into my rebuilds, because now not only is it how am I going to rebuild these different teams and what is going to be my strategy as far as acquiring talent, it's also going to go into what's going to be the best method here for developing these talent trees. Is there going to be a meta that gets established of every single time we're just slowly going to try to follow the same path? Or are we going to figure out that, hey, it's probably going to be better to mix and match, and maybe based upon our team strengths and weaknesses for every specific rebuild is how we're going to attack, how we spend our stat points. So that is something for another video. I will be breaking that down, and obviously we will be following this throughout this rebuild, but I don't want to just take up too much time because I want to get into things here with the Chicago Bears. Now, we are playing, this is early access, so it's on a different build of Madden than what you guys will get at launch. Unfortunately, it had the beta ratings, so I did have to go through and modify these ratings and get them to where they need to be. As you can see, Justin Fields doesn't have his portrait, but his scan and stuff like that is in game. And boy, oh boy, he's looking good, man. 74 overall with that hidden dev trait, 92 throw power. The accuracy is on point. You have the 90 speed, 90 acceleration, 90 agility. This is going to be an incredibly fun quarterback to play with when we're able to hop into the game. We have Dalton there. Yeah, he's a veteran. We have Nick Foles. I think it might be worth right now, especially, you're seeing right now around the league with Carson Wentz's injury with the Indianapolis Colts. Maybe Foles could get traded. Let's put both these guys up. They're probably both bigger assets to the squad if there's a team desperate enough to even give us a late round pick. And it could give us a good feel right now early on of how the trade system is going to work in Madden 22 in terms of how aggressive are the offers that you're going to be getting on the open market. At running back, we have David Montgomery, very solid running back last season. He's been pretty good since he came out of Iowa State. Solid fan. He's one of those guys that's just a super solid fantasy running back. Can catch the ball well, make guys miss in open space big. His break tackle is usually one of his better moves. And you can see 93 carry, just doesn't fumble. He's a solid running back, a very solid running back. We have Damian Williams coming over from the Chiefs. Tariq Cohen, that gadget, shifty, really, really difficult player to tackle. We have Khalil Herbert, the rookie out of Virginia Tech, coming in with a 70 overall. So I'm not overly worried or concerned about our backfield, even though I could say maybe if we don't hit a dev trait sooner than later with David Montgomery, we might not have that game changer in the running back room, which you always kind of want. Wide receiver room, one of the most underrated wide receivers in the NFL here in Allen Robinson, 90 overall. Got the superstar. He's 28, So from a 5-year rebuild standpoint, we're pretty much, we need to maximize him now because he is going to regress at a certain point. Good speed, catching 96, 97 catch in traffic. That's what it's bumped up to right now. 95 spec catch. I mean, Allen Robinson is good. You have Darnell Mooney, who was maybe the best sleeper draft pick last season. He went like 5th round, 6th round, somewhere like that. And he's an absolute burner. 93 speed, 92 acceleration. We have 89 catching. He is going to be a very good deep threat. I think the chemistry between him and Justin Fields, whenever he gets on the field. Pause. We're going to make it clear that this is not Matt Nagy's Bears. This is my Bears. Matt Nagy is saying Dalton's going to be the starter. 100% day one, Justin Fields is my starter. Okay, let's just preface this right now. I'm not going to be thinking about how Andy Dalton or Nick Foles can connect with Allen Robinson or Darnell Mooney. It's going to be Justin Fields. So carrying on, we got Marquise Goodwin, speedster, great speed. Bird, another speedster. Riley Ridley, Calvin's brother, he's solid. We get the rookie Daz Newsome there at North Carolina. Ultimately, our wide receiver room will only go as far as Robinson and Mooney's going to take us, and I think that's going to be one of the exciting things. One of the things to watch on offense is if Mooney and Justin Fields can really establish that connection, maybe we can get a dev trade here or there for Darnell Mooney and hit the ground running with him as a new, potentially superstar wide receiver. I don't know. We got Jimmy Graham, veteran. Not bad, 78. Cole Kmet, probably the guy that we do want to try to manufacture touches for. I don't want to outright not play Jimmy Graham. Our team's not good enough to just kind of handicap that. But Cole Kmet, 72, has a dev trait, only 22. Definitely long-term, especially, year 3, 4, and 5 in this rebuild. We're going to need him to take his game to another level. On the offensive line, Tevin Jenkins was a really good pick. Don't know why it says Oklahoma. Again, we're working on the beta files. It's not going to be the exact rosters that you guys get. But he is a 70 overall, which is, that's not bad considering how, I'm not going to say harsh, but like if your favorite team drafted a lineman in the draft, you're probably underwhelmed with their rating. The fact that Tevin Jenkins still is pulling in a 70 overall is good, and he has that hidden dev trait, which is nice. Has all the makings of being a franchise tackle. 91 strength, 87 impact block. He is one of the most violent, I don't want to say he's a purely run block, but he's one of the most violent offensive linemen in the draft and instantly right in the NFL. James Daniels, we got a 77 left guard there. I think he also has a dev trait star, which is good. In the interior, Whitehair, 81. He's solid. Afedi, they drafted, I don't know, they haven't gone a whole lot of draft picks here on the interior of the offensive line. But right guard, that's going to be right there. Put that right at the top of the list in terms of players that we need to try to address in either upcoming free agency or in the first couple of drafts. I think right guard's a spot. Also think right tackle's a spot. They get Elijah Wilkinson here, 69, just, solid. I think he came from the Denver Broncos, I believe, but definitely the right-hand side of that offensive line. If you're looking at it from a rebuild perspective, that's an area that we want to try to address sooner than later. Defensively, have the Bears ever had a bad defense? Like, I generally cannot think of the last time the Bears did not have a defense that was at minimum like top 15. We got Hakeem Hicks here, 88 overall, the veteran. Just good as ever. Got the star dev. Maybe he's regressed. I think he had a superstar at some point, but he's an absolute beast. Really consistent, especially with the fact that we're simming. Really good sim player. We have Mary Edwards Jr., 72. Yeah, solid, but probably could upgrade there. Interior, Eddie Goldman, 82. We have Bilal Nichols, 79. I think they both have star devs. And what I'm thinking I'm going to do on the depth chart, I'm going to have Eddie Goldman be the nose tackle, and I'm going to take someone like Bilal Nichols, and I'm going to make him one of the defensive ends. I think that's an upgrade over Mario Edwards. So, might as well just so it's not always, depth chart and he's out of position, I'm going to make Bilal Nichols a defensive end. I don't know what that's going to do to his rating. He's going to shift it a point up, a point down, or leave it untouched. He went down 2 points, but that's still clearly an upgrade over Mario Edwards, and we want to get him the touches on the field, the snaps, get the XPs, only 24. Ceiling could be decent for Nichols. I could see him being an 83, 84, 85 overall player. Linebacking core, well, we have Khalil Mack, X Factor. Unstoppable force. He's still, maybe the box score is not getting lit up as much as it once was, but he's still an utterly dominant player that can wreak havoc, take games over. And 30, so hopefully he holds on to that rating. We can have him here for a full 5 years, or contract comes up. Maybe that's going to be a big chunk of change that we can just put and spend and invest in other positions. Middle linebacking core, we have Roquan Smith, who's an absolute beast. 88 overall. Does he have star dev? Superstar. Sitting on a star. You look at the abilities, 89 speed, 89 tackle, the pursuit, 88. He's really good. What else is new? Trevathan, still a solid veteran, 79, regressing a little bit. And I do think long-term, finding that partner with Roquan Smith could be beneficial to our squad. Right outside linebacker, we have the veteran and Robert Quinn. Solid. I think when we look back at history, we're going to realize just how underrated Robert Quinn was. He's good. He is really good. But for the sake of our team, it's probably another position. The fact that our two starting edge rushers, 30 and 31, this is a 5-year rebuild. It's something that we're going to have to think about. And definitely a position that if there's a juicy-looking edge in the draft, we might need to burn a first-round pick on them. Secondary, we have Desmond Trufant, another veteran. Kind of bouncing around the league now since he was at one point was shut down corner for the Falcons. Then he went to the Lions. Now he's here in Chicago. It's okay, but the star of the show here in the secondary, at least for our corners, is Jalen Johnson, second-year player out of Utah, 77 with a star dev. I thought this was a very good pick. Very well-rounded player. As you can see there, the man in the zone. No real liabilities to his game. I think he's only going to develop, and I think he's going to be definitely one to watch. Rest of the corner room, Artie Burns, former first-round pick of the Steelers. Tabor, I know I'm not going to be biased with the Gators, but, could be better. Vildor. We have Thomas Graham, the rookie out of Oregon. But ultimately, another position that generally corner. Remember when they had Kyle Fuller? Remember when this secondary and Bryce Callahan, they were really good. Going through a little bit of rebuild phase. We're going to have to handle that. Free safety, Eddie Jackson, 89 overall. One of the stars of this team with that star dev. Ball hawk. Going to have to probably need strong safety play. Gibson's solid as well. Nothing too fancy there, but he's not a liability. But we're going to need our safeties definitely to help out our corners there because it's still not, a complete corner room by any means. Santos, 77 at kicker. Pat O'Donnell, one of the most athletic punters of all time. And here are our draft picks. We have a 1, a 2, a 3, 2 5s. One of those 5s is coming from a trade where the Bears just sent Anthony Miller to the Houston Texans. Hey, it's a little bit more extra added ammunition. We don't have a 4th, so we're able to pick up a 5th. That's our squad. We know what we need to get better. I think secondary, edge rusher getting a little bit younger. Not so much Khalil Mack, but Robert Quinn. We can use a middle linebacker help. Right-hand side of the offensive line. And then just getting star talent at the skill position players. That's pretty much the recipe and blueprint that every team wants to try to do. But I really do think with Justin Fields under center, we're going to accomplish some special things here over the next 5 seasons. Just quickly here, for all the settings, gameplay sliders, XP sliders, I'm just going to be rocking and rolling on default. That's another... just a wait and see. Wait till someone else that knows a lot more about sliders and stuff like that to come in and offer their expertise. I'm going to be playing all Madden. From what I've played, everyone knows I'm not an absolute savage when it comes to playing Madden, but all Madden does feel a lot better than all pro, so we'll be rocking and roll with that. I'm not going to do a huge deep dive on my settings, just because I'm not, I'm still feeling it out. It's still the working out stage, but I will say, obviously, we're going to turn off relocation settings. One thing that I will break down when I talk about stat points, much like in NCAA, you can adjust the earn rate of how you get stat points. So if you really don't want to wait around or you find that it's too slow, you can adjust that. We have injuries off because it's, we're trying to have a fun rebuild here. It won't be fun if Justin Fields gets hurt every single year. It's just not going to be satisfactory. I still am too afraid to leave dev trait regression on, at least for my first rebuild. As I get into it, as I start playing, if it feels good, I'll turn it on. But generally, I have not been a huge fan of the dev trait regression system. Everything else, it's just as is. But that's the gist of how I'm rocking with this. Injuries off, dev trait regression off, rocking and rolling on all Madden. Good guy Marquise Goodwin wanting to take old Darnell Mooney under his wing. Absolutely. Kind of similar. Mooney uses his speed. Goodwin, one of the fastest players. So let's work on the deep route running here. Because I do think when we actually hop in for gameplay, I'm going to want to use Darnell Mooney as our deep threat. So let's get Goodwin helping him out. And I'll take that. +2 release. Thank you. All right, preseason cuts. We did a lot of the damage already, but we're down to 3 players. This is tough. This is honestly tough, if I'm being honest with you. The worst thing about doing this early is every year there's a guy that's awesome in the preseason. I'll put Daz Newsome on the practice squad. At least we're not outright cutting him. But I've had that before in different rebuilds and stuff like that, where it's I remember in the Eagles, I get rid of Boston Scott or something like that, and then of course they end up having a huge. We'll get a Houston Carson special team. We don't need him. They'll have a huge preseason, then I regret getting rid of them. So that is what we're doing there. And now we are going to advance to week 1 of the regular season and spend all of our franchise points because I still have a lot of staff points here. We have a press conference that we need to do. Obviously, these are things that I'm not going to showcase in a it's still going to be, work in progress, a fluid situation of how I'm going to present these rebuilds now, but let's just because it's fresh, just because it's brand new. Let's look here at how we want to spend our offensive points. So Matt Nagy, and when you guys start your different franchises, you will have coaches that have already kind of gone a direction in their scouting tree. And I think here, when you're looking at the head coach, I think at this point, let's be greedy. Let's be selfish with Matt Nagy. Let's continue to spend here on, let's get XP gain here for wide receivers. That costs 20 points. Just because I think Darnell Mooney, not so much because I think it's going to benefit Darnell Mooney, but I think the most important thing right now for this franchise is getting down to the quarterback boosts. Because Justin Fields, we're going to live and die through Justin Fields. So making sure we can maximize his potential, that is going to be very important. As you can just see right there, I had 20 plus stat points. One upgrade costs 20. So you're going to burn through these points very, very quickly. It is a long-term play to slowly build up these talent trees. I will say something about Madden 22's franchise mode. It's probably going to be a lot less just like burning through the seasons. If you really want to get the most, like right now, you can look at our goals here. For our week 1 game against the Rams, we have don't allow a sack, pass for 275, no first down conversions, allow less than 2 passing touchdowns. Like, okay, those are attainable because you really need to focus on that because you want to be earning staff points. But when you go into manage staff, you also can change the goals that you want. So I can select a different game day goal here for Matt Nagy. I can literally be like, I want to shut him out. I want to score 5 touchdowns. So you have this different variety. If you figure out one of these is meta, one of these is super easy to attain, you want to cheese your franchise points, by all means. But you can adjust them every single week. If you don't like the given weekly goal to try to earn as many franchise points as you can, you always have a bunch of different options. So no fourth down conversion, that's fine. That's kind of situational. Pass for 275. Thinking about our squad here, we are going to want to flex a little bit with Justin Fields. I definitely think that's fairly attainable. So we have 2 press conferences. So I've actually never really seen one of these. Let's start with this one. Rookie QB1. It's the man of the hour. It's the man of the rebuild. Justin Fields. What are we expecting this week? I'm expecting a great performance. Absolutely. Let's go. I don't know if I hold A to skip. Okay, if I hold A to skip, that's just the first question. So we beat the Rams over 300 yards for Justin Fields. He is going to get a boost. We also have opening day key to victory. What's this about? It's the opening day this week and a fresh start for every team around the league. You'll be facing the Rams. What are the keys to the victory? Well, honestly, you look at the Rams. We're gonna have to move the ball. They have an outstanding defense. I'm not going to hold A to skip just in case there's another question, but I think you might just be getting one question each, and it kind of sets up a goal for that given game. But obviously, when you're playing the Rams, we're going to be simming it. What is our main focus? It is going to be the passing game with Justin Fields. You beat the Rams by finding a way to endure Aaron Donald and score points on that defense. It's going to be very difficult because I assume Allen Robinson is going to be locked up with Jalen Ramsey. But that helps out with the gameplay. So obviously, I'm not going to do this every single week because we'll have a 7-hour rebuild. And when we do our main channel franchise, these are the different things that we will go in obviously a little bit more depth because it's a week-by-week kind of deal. But that is your first view of what you do for the press conference. And again, it's just all about orienting your goals about how you want to play your team and making sure you can make achievable goals so you can earn as much XP and as much stat points as humanly possible. So now that all that's out of the way, final look at our opening year 1 rebuild lineup, and then we're just going to get going like a traditional rebuild. So look at the offense. Nothing too crazy there. Jenkins is going to start at left tackle. We have Graham and Kmet. That might be the only thing. If Jimmy Graham's underperforming, I might just give the keys to Cole Kmet and see if he can run with it as tight end 1. We have Robinson, Mooney, and in the slot, I think we're going to be going with Riley Ridley. I may consider Marquise Goodwin. But, I mean, again, it's just one of those things. I gotta wait and see. Is slot wide receiver cheese still going to be a thing here in franchise mode? And therefore, we want Riley Ridley, someone that's younger, that has the potential upside, versus someone like Goodwin, who's at his peak and only going to regress. We're going to have to figure that out. Montgomery and Cohen will be our 1-2 punch at running back. Williams is still a nice versatility option. Justin Fields at QB1. On the defensive side of the ball, nothing too crazy. Nichols, Goldman, and Hicks make up the front 3. Quinn, Trevathan, Roquan Smith, and Khalil Mack are our linebacking core, and our DBs, Eddie Jackson, Gibson, Desmond Trufant, Jalen Johnson, and we're going to go with Artie Burns. Good athlete, putting him in the slot. So that is our squad. Let's get into year 1 of the Madden 22 Chicago Bears rebuild. So there's a fallout to every kind of cutscene that you do before the week, like we had to talk about Justin Fields. Unfortunately, we lost 17 points is all our offense could muster as we fall 21-17 to the Rams. And here's the fallout from Justin Fields. Obviously, we hyped him up. We had to speak to the media. Tough game. Did not get the win, and Justin Fields did not have the game that we hoped for. How can we answer this? Can I answer this with a frustrated response, a stern response? Can we tell this reporter to go F himself? Let's see. Definitely not ideal, but it's not going to define a season or a career. I'm not too worried about it. Am I going to have an option in these ones to kind of input my own take? Nope. Okay. Well, there you go. 0-2. Not great. And it's the first week to do scouting. Obviously, you should know by now that scouting will be coming in an update in September. I think that's the target date for it. So as of right now, well, I want to say unfortunately, but the scouting's still the old scouting. So, like, you know, we want edge rushers potentially. We have Alex Grubbs here from LSU. You know, you just still the old scouting. And wow, late second rounder, number 2 on the big board. Okay, what? Dude, I got a scenario. I got a scenario saying it's Khalil Mack trying to retire. We're 0-3 in Khalil Mack. What? I mean, you know, we've been saying for franchise mode, he's going to retire, we don't start winning games. Can I just pay you an absurd amount? You're already getting paid an absurd amount of money. Can I give you more? Khalil Mack doesn't have it in his heart in the game. Okay. Oh my God. What? While we're here, at least in year 1, showing off the shiny new things that are in franchise mode. The weekly strategy, let's go through it. Again, it's another feature that I think, at least from like a YouTube perspective, is going to be a lot more important and a lot more focus on it when we do like the individual main channel franchise modes and not just the rebuilds, because in the rebuilds, it's not necessarily all about getting from point A to point B as quickly and concisely as possible. But when you don't want a video to run over, 3 hours long, you got to kind of condense things and just trust the sim to a certain degree. But here is the weekly strategy. We're going up against the Bucs, so to stop Tom Brady and company, we want to defend the deep pass. Got it. Stop the, what are we going to do from a offensive perspective? Well, they like to blitz it a lot, so let's counter their blitz. Let's try to make them look stupid for being over aggressive, and then obviously you have your training that you can do every single week. I'll say one thing: the Madden random generated class is still just real harsh for offensive linemen. Again, can't wait for that September scouting update. I'm going to show you this from the get-go with just this scenario. But we just got a nice victory. Beat the 49ers. They're a good team. We're 2-6 though. So like for some of you guys that are thinking maybe the Bears are going to be as overpowered in the sim as they have been in previous Maddens, doesn't seem to be the case so far. And it could be worse. We could be the 0-7 Pittsburgh Steelers. But we have to revisit calling it quits. Is it Khalil Mack? Like, it seems rather convenient. He's talking about this. And what? What? We just won! What? Does he just leave now? Mid-season? Like Evontae Davis is this? What? Khalil Mack? What? 2-6! Gone. I think this rebuild just peaked. I don't know how I combat that. How like we have to win a Super Bowl now. And like, does this mean like next year if I have a bad year, like Justin Fields is gonna want to retire? All right, we gotta keep it on. Again, it's beta build. Maybe the full game be a slightly different. Maybe we don't have Khalil Mack retiring after a slow start. But we are 3-6. Bottom of the division here, looking at the standings at our bye week. It needs to be a lot better, to be honest with you. I thought it was going to be a lot better. But we're not out of it. We're only 3 games back. We get on a little bit of a winning streak here. Put ourselves right back into playoff contention. Why Khalil Mack retired? Contracts. So at the midway point, Allen Robinson absolutely wants a 4-year deal. Well, we got a whole lot of money now that Khalil Mack... I wonder now what happens with the salary cap implication. Khalil Mack was our most expensive player. Now, is that just because he retires? Is that all voided? Is that all off the books? I mean, this is an old team. Let's prioritize the younger guys at this point. Let's get James Daniels locked in. 5-year deal. Want to keep him there on the interior of the offensive line. Bilal Nichols, another good young player, has a solid dev trade. Let's give him something like a 4-year deal, $31 million. I'm good with that. Excellent. A lot of these guys are buying in. For all the doom and gloom that's apparently there with Khalil Mack retiring, a lot of these guys are willing to re-up here with the Chicago Bears. I think it kicks at this point just because I don't want to have to try to replace Akeem Hicks and Khalil Mack in the same offseason. I hope I get a scenario at the end of this year that's like Khalil Mack wants to come back, and that's just like... It's like a bad relationship. It's on it. You break up 17 different times, but in the end, you still get the girl. That's what I'm kind of hoping's happening here with Khalil Mack when season's over. So we did lose Khalil Mack later on in the year. Nothing to play for. We had Allen Robinson absolutely go nuclear in a game. Sim, this is very rare. I can count on one hand how many times I actually got superstar to superstar X Factor dev trade scenarios to actually work in Sim, but he did it. And Allen Robinson is now a superstar X Factor. So... You know, doesn't make up for Khalil Mack retiring mid-season, but it helps, I guess. And actually, with that, we're going to have to go over here to the little skill tree, and we're going to have to buy the talent tree that lets you equip X Factors on the offensive side of the ball for 10 points. Year 1 has concluded, and bottom dwellers in the north. 6-11 for the Chicago Bears. Definitely did not see this coming. Thought that they were going to be pretty overpowered, to be honest with you, and unfortunately... we were not. So let's get a look at the stats here from year 1. I do like the new menu. I will say this. It does, like, there's a lot of options. Looks like it could be scary, but I've been playing for a little bit now, and it is, I think, having so much stuff just accessible right off the get-go, I'm into it. So let's look at more so our season stats here for the Chicago Bears. How did Justin Fields perform as a rookie? And not great. 3,000 passing yards, 25 touchdowns, 12 picks, 57% complete percentage. Ain't great. 53 sacks. Not what you're looking for. Running the ball. Over 1,000 yards and 13 touchdowns for David Montgomery. Only 1 fumble. Not really mad. That's still seeing slight issues with the scrambling. I think Justin Fields is going to have more than 150 rushing yards in his rookie season. From a receiving standpoint, 86 catches, 940, and 16 for Allen Robinson, who also got a superstar X Factor dev trait. That's pretty good. Rest of the group, though, not so hot. Definitely disappointing to see Darnell Mooney only having that amount of catches. 6 yards per reception. He's an outside wide receiver. That's not what we're looking for Darnell Mooney. Roquan Smith was a beast. 135 tackles, 6 TFLs, a sack, 2 interceptions, over 100 tackles for Trevathan on the sacks front. Well, you know, Khalil Mack retired, so Robert Quinn had to step up. 9 sacks, 13 TFLs, 17 TFLs, 9 sacks for Akeem Hicks. I'm happy, satisfied with those numbers. 2 picks, Jalen Johnson, Gibson, and Roquan led the team in that department. Let's get a lay of the land of the league here, though. Like, before we go see the award winners, I just want to get a general, like, what's the league looking like? And my God, Jameis, again, played on the beta build. Hopefully stuff like this is turned down just a little bit, but at least we're seeing firsthand. Looks like the Saints playbook's going to be pretty good. Madden 22. Nick Chubb absolutely feasted. Lots of rushing touchdowns. Bunch of guys getting in the 20s. Fournette, Zeke, Josh Jacobs, Chubb, and Alvin Kamara. On a receiving standpoint, Russell Gage, breakout year, I suppose. No more Julio Jones there in Atlanta. Doesn't look to be slot cheese, though, by any means. Usually you'd see outrageous slot numbers, and it's not looking too crazy. Maybe a little light on the 1,000-yard receivers, but is what it is. Defensively, Onwuasor, signed with the Eagles, led the league in tackles. From a sack standpoint, Tank Lawrence, 24 sacks there for the Dallas Cowboys to go along with 24 TFLs. That is pretty crazy. 17.5 for Fletch. Pick standpoint, Bobby Wagner's, Trey White, Jair Alexander, Garyon Conley to the Eagles. That would be a signing I'd actually really like to see happen. Howie, you listening to this? Howie, make it happen. Okay. Alvin Kamara is the MVP. I like seeing a running back win the MVP there. In the NFC, more so let's focus on the Chicago Bears here. I don't think we're going to have anybody, if I'm being honest with you. Offensive rookie, they went to Trey Lance. Justin Fields, runner-up there at number 2. On the defensive side of the ball, Micah Parsons on the Dallas Cowboys is your defensive rookie of the year. Best QB went to Jameis Winston, obviously, because Jameis Winston was absurd, absolutely absurd. Put up college-like numbers. Allen Robinson is wide receiver of the year. No real dev trait for him to go up anyways because we hit the X factor in season. Defensively, I mean, we might have someone show up at linebacker. Robert Quinn, number 7. Cool. DB, Garron Conley. Don't have anyone. Whoa, kicker. Can we put some respect on Cairo Santos coming in at number 7? But ultimately, just it's a feeling out process here now in Madden 22 and getting the rebuilds up and going here. But, we got staff moves that we got to worry about. Great guys that we can look at potentially bringing in. Joe Judge, shocker that he was let go. I don't know. I don't want to mess around too much. I'd rather keep the staff that I have right now, unless one of them gets poached. We do have 35 points that we could spend. There's really 2 things that I have considered upgrading. One is just going right down here for 25 points on Matt Nagy's skill tree. Get the final piece. All players in your team count as scheme fits during training, which gives you the added XP boost. That's 25. Or I'm looking at player personnel just because we're getting ready to enter the offseason. You get a trade value. Do we want that? Is that something that, like... this one here, the re-sign discount. I mean, it's not going to do anything for us now, but it could be next season. Gives us a discount on guys that are 85. No, screw that. Let's get this one here. Let's get the final piece. Seems like that's going to be more impactful in the long run for Matt Nagy. Let's get into our first offseason. And the Year 1 Super Bowl goes to the Kansas City Chiefs, knocking off the Seattle Seahawks 37-31 with Patrick Mahomes winning Super Bowl MVP. All right, just to rub it in, as always, at the beginning of the offseason, get to look at the retirements. And, So as we enter free agency here, kind of have a plan mapped out based upon my scouting, which you'll see when we get to the draft. Just take my word for it. I think 3 positions that I want to improve that I didn't have great scouting. Wide receiver was one, and there is a wide receiver. There's actually 2 that look kind of interesting to have, a really solid 3. You have Allen Robinson on the outside. You have Mooney, you can play in the slot or put him outside. We have Christian Kirk, who actually could go in the slot, or we have Michael Gallup. I think for the sake of our team, because I want to utilize Mooney on the outside, I think throwing an offer here to Christian Kirk, 3-year deal to have him come in and be our starting slot wide receiver. That's solid money. We have okay salary cap to spend too, because of I don't know the reason. Oh yeah, Khalil Mack retired. Offensive line scouting was not good at all, so I think we might be able to. I just want to generally draft one lineman, so I'm not so worried about right guard, but we do need a right tackle. Current right tackles aren't great, so I'm thinking now could be a good opportunity for us to go after Jordan Mailata, formerly of the Philadelphia Eagles. Don't want to overpay like the Lions did with Big V. Eagle linemen tend to be, I'm not going to say that they're like the Patriots, because it feels like with the Patriots, you've seen it with like Trent Brown and all those guys. Patriot linemen, when they're great in New England, it's not just linemen. It's pretty much guys look great in New England, and then we go elsewhere, they look kind of crappy. I think that might be kind of the same for Philadelphia. We have an outstanding offensive line coach. Seems to get the most out of our players. So yeah, tackle. So we get Mailata. We'll kick him in the right side. We also need a corner. And I think the fact that J.C. Jackson is a scheme fit, top available corner, I think it might be, at least throw our hat in here. Try to land J.C. Jackson. 3-year, $36 million. We'll start with that bit. Currently the top one, and we'll see kind of how it falls out. The one other position, I had some really good-looking safeties, so I do think we'll be able to land a really, really good starting strong safety in the draft. So J.C. Jackson, Christian Kirk, and Jordan Mailata, those are going to be our big targets for our first free agency window. So for the first wave, we got Jordan Mailata signed on, Christian Kirk signed on, missed out on J.C. Jackson. So there was other corners available. Let's see what the market looks like after the first wave has gone down. I mean, we still got Devontae Adams. I mean, we're not going to get Devontae Adams. We're still very much a team that's in a rebuild. I mean, understanding that our next best corner right now behind Jalen Johnson is only 69, I'm not going to be overly greedy. Let's just see if there's anybody here that has like a decent dev trait with some upside that we may be able to sign and elevate their game. Kevin King, Trey Herndon, Garyon Conley just had a huge year with the Philadelphia Eagles. He's 27. I mean, Teron Jackson's a scheme fit, only 26. There are some other bids on him. 27, 28. Let's up this just a little bit. Something like that. 2 years, $8.8 million. He's a pretty solid corner for the Buffalo Bills. we'll see if we can land him in and bring in some reinforcement to our secondary. Oh, man. Teron Johnson. I mean, hey, it's tough. It's tough selling some corners to come here to Chicago, the Windy City. We have a great defense, right? Should have a bunch of people chomping at the bit to be a part of this. What's the best guy here? Mackenzie Alexander. I'm not really looking. I want someone that can play on the outside. I mean, given the year Garyon Conley had, 2-year deal, not that bad for a guy that had 7 interceptions on the Philadelphia Eagles. I'll take that. Nice. Able to lock up Garyon Conley, so now let's go to our first draft. All right, so here's our draft board. We got some guys that look good. Scouted some first rounders. Obviously, had to put emphasis on the edge rushers sooner than later, given what happened with Khalil Mack there. Have some solid looking ones. You've heard of Brian Westbrook from the Eagles. Well, what about Brian Westbrook from Notre Dame? Late first rounder. But I think where we're at with a squad right now, we just need the best players possible. We have a couple absolute studs. Larry Favors from Notre Dame, early first round talent, didn't attend the combine. That's a guy that looks real good. A lot of these corners are fairly solid. We have strong safety, which is a need. We have Luke Knighton, early first rounder, pretty good combine. But look at this, LaMichael Nance, third rounder with early first round talent. So I'm trying to think, like, what are the projected? He's a mid-third. And what was that linebacker? Like, is there a way we can go like 1, 2, 3? They're both mid-thirds. Might not, because like the whole thing is like those guys look great. And then if we can, like, we have another guy, fourth rounder, late first round talent at corner. That's good enough that we might not have to invest our first round pick in a Boyle who's a late first rounder, Young who's a mid first rounder. Because I got to get an edge rusher going on here. Brian Westbrook's there on the D line. I mean, I want to see at least the mid. We have Demarius Rhodes from Boise State. He looks pretty good. Daniel Waller from Florida also looks fairly good. I think we're going to rock and roll. We'll grab our edge rusher here that can replace Khalil Mack. And then hopefully second round, we can grab Favors. And then third round, we can grab the safety. Or probably the safety first, because at least we have Roquan Smith, the middle linebacker. And we can look elsewhere. So with our first ever pick in Madden 22, I'm going to select Demarius Rhodes, the heir to Khalil Mack. And he looks solid. 76, normal dev. Again, we know we're on the old scouting system, old prospect system. Hopefully we get back to having good young players, having fun dev traits, and not just what we had in Madden 21, where every good player, for the most part, had a normal dev. But that's solid. That's solid for sure. Looking at our draft board, Favors is still there. Nance, the strong safety, is still there. So I'm going to gamble. Fingers crossed we can get both of them, but we're going to grab LaMichael Nance because we do need a straight-up starter at strong safety to play back there with Eddie Jackson. A, hit power, A- pursuit, B, tackle, good jumping. Looks pretty damn good, to be honest with you, and he's a 77 normal dev player. Number 5 in true value. Getting him at 40, 90 speed, 89 acceleration, 87 hit power, 78 tackle, 83 pursuit. This guy brings the lumber. Really, really good-looking player. Linebacker's gone. That's still fine. Look, we still got some talent here. Lucas Bush, who actually, I didn't know what was going on. This was actually a scenario. I had to talk to my GM, and he told me that it's this scout free safety Lucas Bush. And I was just thinking, I thought it was like a bug, like they're talking about Dion Bush, but that's kind of cool. They give you hints on players that could be diamonds in the rough, but we don't need a free safety. I much more need a corner. So we're going to select Derrick Bolden from Louisville. Should be solid, like low 70, mid 70, 75 normal, 22 in true value. Not going to lie, dev traits aside, which don't get me started on dev traits and generated classes. This has been an outstanding first draft here in Madden 22 hey, DraftKings. Hit me up. That's a great sponsorship, myself and DraftKings. So we close out the draft. Just some solid players here. I got Donald Callahan at wide receiver, 68 normal. Ralph Thomas at running back at a Boston College, 69 normal. And Donovan Little, defensive end. We're going to shift him to outside linebacker out of Notre Dame normal. I mean, wide receiver's kind of interesting. 6'4", 230 for Callahan. Probably has a good shot at making the roster. But, it would have been nice to get dev traits, but getting a 76, 77, and 75 with our first 3 picks, gotta feel pretty good about that, because all those guys are going to see plenty of time on the field as rookies. So here's our opening day squad for year 2 of the Chicago Bears rebuild. We got Field 77, quarterback under center. Still a star dev. Would love to hit a dev trait scenario sooner than later. Montgomery and Cohen in the backfield there. Allen Robinson, new superstar X-Factor Allen Robinson. What's his X-Factor ability? Just to be clear here. I assume it's... Okay, Rack. Allen Robinson seems like the kind of guy that's more like a double me. than it is the run after the catch style receiver. Mooney and Kirk, I'm excited. I'm excited about the skill position players. Cole Kmet has an opportunity to earn outright that tight end 1 spot. We got Mailata at right tackle. I poached Ben Bredesen from the Ravens practice squad there at left guard. Definitely offensive line is a work in progress. Tevin Jenkins up to a 76. Defensively, Akeem Hicks went up dev trade. He's a superstar, so that's good. Pretty much we need all hands on deck between him, Rhodes, Nance, who we got in the draft, our third corner, Bolden, who we got in the draft. Like, all these guys are going to step up. Not one guy, at least in one offseason, will be able to replace Khalil Mack. Eddie Jackson, 90. Roquan Smith, 92. All looking solid. Actually was able to get Davis, Gaither, and Singleton off of free agency, so I like our depth at linebacker as well. More so, can one of those guys kind of pull ahead and be the successor to Danny Trevathan, because he's getting a little long in the tooth there. But this is our squad for year 2. Can't be any worse than year 1, right? We have a big pile of points, 31 stat points. I think the best one right now, I just want to continue, especially early on in the season. Let's prioritize the discounts just so it makes it that much more easier to re-sign our best players in a couple weeks' time. At the midway point of year 2, way better. 6-2. Kind of what I was expecting last season, but is what it is, man. So from here, I think this is how I'm going to present the rebuilds. Usually at the midway point, that's when we talk about players and contracts and stuff like that, which we still will. But I think that's also a time to talk about spending our stat points. We'll interject it, kind of overlap the two. So we have plenty of options here. We have 61 points. I'm thinking the first one, I definitely just want to finish up the contracts, get the 5% discount on players 90 or above, which is just going to be better long term. It's just good to have that baseline. I mean, this is stuff that, like, saving stuff for this, for the contracts, for boost and free agency, that's probably good when you have a lot of points at the end of the season, if you know what positions you're going to want to try to improve. I'm almost kind of thinking we should just try and get the baseline here of at least everything. We have injuries off, which is frustrating, but we can't go further down that skill tree until you purchase the first one. So I figure that's probably going to be the best bet. We got play rec. I'm not overly worried about that right now for the OC. Like, I'm just trying to, like, what do I really want at the end of the day? And I'm thinking practice makes perfect, because it kind of helps big boost to catching, especially for running backs. Probably where we want to go. We also could just, you know, once we get enough points, again, we have these two bottom ones, the big dogs, the big dads, if you will, player growth. Fountain of Youth, which would slower grad. I mean, for that, you'd be looking at D-end, probably Akeem Hicks. And then the hidden depth trade. Well, we didn't get any hidden depth trade rookies, so that kind of doesn't make a whole lot of sense right now to invest there. So I'm thinking we're going to work our way down this skill tree. So we got a buy here, boost the carry there. We can boost the stamina for wide receivers, sure. Might as well get, I mean, we might as well just boost the carry. How about old David Montgomery? But I do think the things I want are at the bottom here. Fancy footwork, concentration for either one. That is where I want to stand my point. So we have 4 players that are currently out of contract that are looking for a brand new contract. And let's see who wants it. I mean, we're all positive vibes right now. Everyone's fairly healthy. Glad we got that boost, because Roquan Smith is about to get paid. It's actually not a bad contract. $68 million. David Montgomery, another player. Absolutely, you want to keep him in-house. I mean, that's if you've never seen a C4 rebuild. I try my best to hold on to my talent. Where some people may be more inclined to try to trade for best talent. When I can grow and develop a guy, that's going to be my approach. So 6-2, midway point. Got all of our contracts hammered out. Got some big-time staff upgrades. Things are looking pretty good. So near the end of the season, LaMichael Nance, our safety that we drafted in the 3rd round, I believe, 2nd round, went up dev trade, normal dev, which is great for us considering, you know, all 3 of our premier picks from the draft were normal. The fact that they're all getting starting reps, you want to at least see one of those guys get a dev trait. So now we have a shiny new dev trait. Plus, we could probably upgrade him at least a point here. So he's going to be an 80 overall star. So it didn't look great at face value when we selected him, but giving him his rookie season, giving him plenty of snaps, he's been very productive. LaMichael Nance, playing back there with Eddie Jackson, up to an 80 star as a rookie. And that's more like it. At the end of year 2, we found ourselves going to the playoffs. It just took, you know, mulligan year, rookie jitters for Justin Fields. 12-5, the Bears finished. We do have to run the gauntlet, though, unfortunately. We were the 1 seed, but then for the final 3 games of the season, lost 2. We were able to win the final game against Washington, and we finished as the 5 seed, so a very competitive NFC. But playoffs in year 2, very, very happy to see that. While we're here, might as well spend 82 staff points. Kind of sneaked a little peek to see what I might want to spend on. I think it's worth finishing out this skill tree here. So we're going to get this first boost for wide receivers. So it gets the big bump to the release. We're going to get concentration, so that's +5 catching for our running back, some more so for David Montgomery. And then we get this one. Oh, how much? I mean, do I have to buy this one first? I assume so. Oh, I can't get it. We had to come down the other way. See, that's the commit. Oh, it would have been so much better to get the +5 catching. See, again, it's only be a learning curve with the talent tree. Still got 42 points there. I think I'm going to save them for free agency. Just, we might want to use, you know, maybe we don't. We're probably not getting a free or strong safety, but we could be somewhere in the offensive line. If there's a really good one there, we could spend that. Same for on the defensive line. So I'm going to hold those 42 points just in my back pocket for the time being. So how did we play? Well, we know the record. What about the stats? Who actually did what this season? Anyone break out? Okay, Justin Fields did. Justin Fields finished the year 3,000 passing yards, 41 touchdowns, 9 picks, 62% completion percentage. Yards a little bit lower, but I'll take 41 touchdowns every day of the week. He did a little bit more on the rushing department. Last year was kind of sus. David Montgomery, outstanding year. 1,300 yards, 15 touchdowns, no fumbles. Very happy with that, man. He is developing right along the rate that we want him to. Cole Kmet led the team in catches, 869 and 7. 700 yards, 12 touchdowns, Allen Robinson. 630 and 5 from Mooney. 550 and 11 from Christian Kirk. So we're getting a really good return on investment for him in his first year. Roquan Smith got himself a brand new contract. 133 tackles, 4 TFLs, sack and a half. 2 picks, 7.5 sacks. Akeem Hicks. Demarius Rhodes, our first-round pick out of Boise State. The man that is going to try and replace Khalil Mack. Okay start. I mean, 91 tackles, 11 TFLs, 6 sacks is that's good. Garyon Conley, 5 picks. Absolute bargain. Had 7 picks a year ago with the Eagles. Hit free agency. He was like our third corner, our third option, and he comes in with 5 interceptions. Might have to give him a new contract. 3 picks there for Johnson. 3 for LaMichael Nance, who had the dev trait scenario. So I'm very happy seeing that. Very quick look here at the yearly awards. MVP went to Christian McCaffrey. That's 2 straight seasons that we've done this, and it's gone to a running back, which is always kind of cool. Urban Meyer there got Coach of the Year. Just looking quickly here. See if any Chicago Bears outright won an award. Best quarterback did go to Justin Fields. Hopefully, that can give him a dev trait. Would be awesome to get Justin Fields up to a superstar. There's probably people that already rolled their eyes, especially if you're a Chicago Bear fan or an Ohio State fan that saw Justin Fields with the star dev. So we got our playoffs here. It's only year 2, so we'll still be simming it. We're almost freaking at an hour long in the video, even though this is going to be a longer rebuild because I got to show every little thing, kind of break it down and showcase it to you guys. But yeah, I don't want to hold you up any longer than you need to be. So it's year 2. We'll just sim this one out. And hopefully we can go on a deep playoff run. All right, we're just gonna sim it out. Oh, look at that. I mean, I've never played Next Gen Madden. This is my first time, at least on camera, playing it. We get out to a fairly slow start. Dallas gets 10 points. I think we've had a couple turnovers, which is not great. I mean, it's first playoff game for Justin Fields. There are going to be jitters. So hopefully we don't get in too big of a hole. And once he kind of puts all together, which 2 straight touchdowns for us, getting 14 points going into half. Slim lead. Oh, can we get something here right before the end of it? Yes, we can. Down 2. I like it. Anytime we can beat Dallas on the channel, it's always going to be a good day. But Cowboys take the lead going into the 4th quarter here. Defense is definitely getting a little tired. Dallas is a very tough team to stop, man. CeeDee Lamb. I think Michael Gallup hit free agency, but you still got Zeke and everyone. Either way, there we go. End of game drive. $1:48 to go. Touchdown, and we can get this going, and we do not. Unfortunately. Our first playoff run ends in defeat. Probably couldn't stop Zeke by the looks of things. Not a bad showing there. Justin Fields, 3 touchdowns. Did have 2 picks. So playoff jitters are a thing. But look at that. $154, 2 touchdowns for Zeke. That's probably all you really need to see here. Mooney, 71 yards, 2 touchdowns. Touchdown for Christian Kirk. Defensively, got a couple TFLs there. Only 1 sack from Donovan Little. Just couldn't get pressure on Dak. Couldn't stop Zeke. And in year 2, at least we make the playoffs, but 1 and done. Next time people make the Pro Bowl. I was going to show this year 1. Didn't have anybody. Justin Fields, QB2. We got Cole Kmet, tight end 1. I mean, if they fix the dev traits for tight ends, we might have a dev trait there for Cole Kmet. Getting him off star up to his superstar. Jalen Johnson made the Pro Bowl at corner. Happy with that. Take it. That hacks our punter. Cool, man. Couple Pro Bowlers. Proud of you. So with that Pro Bowls, kind of hoping to see a couple more dev traits. No dev. Fields makes the Pro Bowl, wins QB of the year. No dev trait. Unfortunately, Cole Kmet gets tight end 1 in the Pro Bowl. No dev trait. Defensively, we got Roquan Smith going up to superstar, which is cool. Jalen Johnson up to a superstar as well. Okay, I'll take it. Could have been a lot worse. And for year 2 Super Bowl goes to Dallas, 28-24. So I guess we lost to the eventual Super Bowl champions with Zeke getting the MVP. Gross. So I said we come back right at the beginning of free agency to spend these staff points. We need a guard and linebacker. So I'm going to spend 1 point here. Let's go. Get that. Also, I got to get this one, don't I? Do I have enough? Come on, 18. Yes, sir. We can get outside linebacker. So we're able to get a little bit of boost. Doesn't really say what the percentage is of the likelihood for some reason, but it helps us out at the 2 positions we really need to hit on some free agents if they're ones that are worthy of signing. As you see, looking at our roster, need that guard at left guard. That guy is just not good enough. The rest of the offense, not too bad. Nothing that I need to break the bank for. And then you look at the defense, just linebacker, Robert Quinn. We need that other linebacker that can pair with Roquan Smith. We did just pay Roquan Smith, so it's not like I need another superstar right there. You're going to kind of hope that Roquan Smith, because he's so talented, it could compensate for not having 2 elite linebackers. So, overall, the top of the class, there's DeCastro, Tom Brady's just not retiring, Rodney Hudson, Kareem Hunt. But I just want to focus on the positions that we really need. And first, on the offensive line, kind of interchangeable for the most part. And there's a guy here I want to target, Garrett Bradbury. Center from the Vikings, guy that just absolutely destroyed the combine when he was coming to NC State. I think he could play guard. I think he actually played a little bit of guard in college. So we're going to come with the top bid there. And if we can get him, we're going to kick him out to that right guard spot. Just a little bit younger option than DeCastro. We're not quite in an all-in. Signing DeCastro at this point, that's like an all-in signing. Also, want to get a little bit better as far as edge rusher is concerned. Josh Sweat's here, 26. Got the star dev. I like Josh Sweat, so I could be persuaded because I'm biased. But Rashawn Gary is kind of the better player at this point. Power rusher. What do we need? We need speed, I think, is kind of what we're looking for. No. You know what we're going to do? I'm going to get Rashawn Gary because Rhodes is a speed rusher. He's not a scheme fit right now. So if we sign Rashawn Gary, he'll be a scheme fit to left outside linebacker. I can kick Rhodes to right outside linebacker. Oh, my God, but he's so much more money. $25.83. That is a heavy investment. What's Josh Sweat? $26.78. But he's a lot more affordable. I think we're going to go with just the more affordable options so that our salary cap's not going to be completely handicapped if we want to go buck wild, say year 4, year 5, go all in. So let's see if we can get outbid the Patriots here for Josh Sweat. And then in the secondary, always trying to improve. And I think we should at least, because 26 scheme fit for Jamel Dean, at least try to make a competitive offer. We're just under 20 million bucks. So that's some pretty good carryover in the next season if we are able to land all of our targets. But again, going big time on the defensive side, Josh Sweat, Jamel Dean, and Garrett Bradbury, which we will then kick to guard if we can land his signature. Okay, not good. Spending our snap points didn't work out, as we did not get Garrett Bradbury. We did get Josh Sweat, which is good. We can put him at edge rusher for an upgrade over Robert Quinn. Also missed on Jamel Dean. We have Arion Peters. Don't need a strong safety, but you know me. I like to draft a safety in the movement in middle linebacker. Could this be the guy that can play next to Roquan Smith? 6 feet tall, 214, 215. That can be a lot. Like people are saying that's what Darius Leonard's playing weight was. The combine stuff looks outstanding. We have Eddie Griffin here, who looks insane. Right? Early first round, he'd be a D end in our scheme, kick him out. He could be the guy that's groomed for Akeem Hicks when it's all said and done. But then we also have this guy, Juan Presley, early first rounder in the 4th round. So seeing all of these things, I think it's going to be in our best interest to get a little weird. We're going to start this draft getting a little weird. This guy is most likely going to be a middle linebacker. I just got to see the stats. I get weird like that. Oh, yeah! Let's go! And Arion Peters, 80 overall, number 3 in true value, getting him at 24, 92 speed, 70 tackle. Okay, the tackle's not great. Maybe we'll keep him at safety. Maybe we'll get the other guy that we drafted last year and move the linebacker. We'll get creative with it, but that is a home run pick. I'll take it every day of the week. We're just going to play it safe. We're going to get the guy that we need. We're going to get the guy that's going to be, hopefully, the successor, the heir to Akeem Hicks. Juan Presley. I'm the best. I am the best at this. 80 overall, number 2 in true value, hidden dev trait, Let's go, man. 93 strength, 80 tackle, 82 proc shed, 82 power move, 81 This guy's insane. This guy's absolutely insane. This is a joke at this point. Third pick, I got a right tackle, Greg Johnson, 70 hidden dev, 6'4", 330. Has the build. We might be able to kick him in the guard. Kick him in the guard, utilize that dev trait, take him over Ben Bredesen. So we finished out the draft, and it was, yeah, pretty decent. Got a 71 outside linebacker, normal dev, 68 corner, 66 corner, and a 64 fullback. But, I mean, let's go, man. What else am I going to tell you? You saw it. Back-to-back years. We have to make a decision. Which one of these safeties is going to play next to Roquan Smith? And it's actually fairly easy decision. Peters has 82 man coverage, 75 zone to 67. He's a better cover guy. And then you look at who's a better tackle guy. It's very much Nance. He has 81 tackle, 87 hit power. So if you just ignore the fact that we're both to have a 202-pound linebacker, it makes all the sense in the world. Because, I mean, obviously you can just play heavy nickel if you wanted to. Make one of these guys your sub linebacker. But I think it just makes the most sense from a positional and depth chart standpoint. We'll kick him into middle linebacker. His rating is still outstanding, 77. Not much at all of a ratings hit. And that is going to be an incredibly difficult defense to attack the middle of the field on. Year 3 for the Chicago Bears. Looking to build up that playoff performance. Still, kind of keeping the same core of guys together. Johnson, kicking him in from tackle to guard to utilize that dev trait. Is really the only change on the offensive side of the ball, which is good for cohesion, good for chemistry. Defensive side of the ball, moving Nance into middle linebacker, adding Josh Sweat at edge rusher, drafting Peters, who looks like he's going to be simply unreal. Garyon Conley he's just an absolute ball hawk. Bolden, another year. Johnson with the new dev trait as well. You remember, Roquan is a new dev trait, so a lot more impact playmakers on the defensive side of the ball. Got to find ways to get Presley involved, but again, hopefully between him and Peters, one of those guys is better than a star dev, and this defense is, just continuing to uphold the type of, it seems like there's a standard for a Bears defense. If you don't meet that standard, the fans are going to turn on you. It seems like we're still maintaining that legendary status for this Bears defense. Midway point, let's just burn our stop points here. On the defensive side of the ball, let's show them a little bit of love. We have to commit to one side of the tree. So let's keep here boosting and help. I just feel like this would be something like when you're getting your sim, especially if you're doing like a rebuild where it's a little bit quicker, you're not seeing the game to game. Like if you're getting a lot of interceptions, probably focus on the side that helps you get maybe more sacks within the sim. That's what I'm doing because we had a lot of picks last year. Garyon Conley and all those guys, but our sacks were a little bit down. So it would just make sense right there to target an area of your team that's not great and see if like those kind of little perks and boosts help you out. So contracts, let's see what we got. Well, we still don't really, honestly, could be time to move on from Akeem Hicks. I think we'll let that contract just sit there for a little bit. I don't necessarily want, we don't have to get rid of him, but I don't see if we go on a playoff run and we want to run it back, good. If we crash and burn the end of this year, I might have to do a little bit of retooling. We probably want some of this salary to go be able to spend and improve the team in other ways. So for sure, Jalen Johnson needs to give himself a new contract. I think same goes for Darnell Mooney at wide receiver. Let's give him a 4-year deal. We have a lot of salary cap to play with, which is kind of the benefits of, we did strike out with some of our top targets in free agency. Just gives us more to work with here. And everyone still is kind of down to be a part of the squad. Garyon Conley, doesn't have a great dev trait overall, but he's excelling in our scheme, so we'll get him locked up. Cohen, you can always draft backup running back. So I think we're going to play wait and see. If we go on a playoff run again, could be worth keeping our veterans on the D-line. If we crash and burn, might be needing a little bit of a reshuffle there. I don't know how we keep doing this. Anytime I get a dev trait scenario, we seem to be hitting it. Christian Kirk gets the superstar. It was a win, but we had another one. I don't know if Roquan Smith going for X Factor. Okay, Roquan Smith didn't get that. That was a little bit crazy. But I also saw this when I was just spending the XP here. We're definitely worth talking about. We have a dev trait for one of our rookies that we need to talk about. So Christian Kirk up to a superstar, which is great considering, he's been excellent. Not every time you get this kind of return on investment when you spend big money in free agency. We're definitely getting that from Christian Kirk. And, who was the other? Wasn't there another wide receiver we were thinking about? Michael Gallup. I think we probably made the right decision. But Peters back here is also superstar. That's awesome. That's going to be great. Him and Eddie Jackson back there doing dangerous things. Still don't know Presley. He's back up. We'll have to probably wait to the end of the season. But yeah, this team's really shaping up, even though our record's not particularly great right now. Lead up at the end of year 3, playoffs. 9-8. Who knows? It wasn't a 17-game season. Maybe we would have missed out on the playoffs, but we'll take it. We are, the last seed. But, you know, it would have been annoying. Would have felt like, where are we really at as a franchise? We make the playoffs year 2, and then year 3, fail to make the playoffs. We have 92 staff points to spend because we are now at a stage where, you know, it's beneficial for us to spend the stat points here on stuff that's actually going to be big boosts. I think it's worth to just work our way down the tree, especially upgrading down here. Weight room. Let's go. 4-point boost for strength of the front 3. Very happy with that. Might as well just get this last one, too, since we committed to that skill tree. What else do we got? We got play rec for safeties, for corners. Corners could be better. Our safeties are on point. I feel like our corners might need the extra boost as we go forward with this defense. So we're just going to keep on keeping on here. Let's boost the pursuit up by 1. We still have points. Boost up catching. I mean, that's one of my favorite things. And we got stamina. Don't really need that. Let's go back to the pursuit. As you can see here, we're almost, end of year 3. We've been a solid, not powerhouse team, and we are at like a fair rate, starting to fill out our talent trees here for our staff. So because it's year 3 again, I feel like we still just let the sim take the wheel and see if we can get our first playoff victory with Justin Fields here in Chicago. Let's go, baby. Come on, they got Winston, right? Jameis Winston. We don't even have Winston as our QB anymore. I'm going to be livid if the New Orleans Saints have junk all at quarterback and they're still absolutely smoking us. I mean, these are the 2 teams from Madden past. It felt like Patriots, Bears, and Saints. Absolute juggernauts with their offenses in this sim. And I mean, it's close. Both defenses are playing well. Would love to be out of the first half with something better than just 3 field goals, but it's keeping us in the game here. We can start making these field goals. We have 4 field goals now. We can get 1 touchdown drive and a 2-point conversion, which we get. We are tied up at 20 with 3 minutes, 21 seconds left to go in the red zone, and they hold us to another field goal. You don't even need to be John Madden to see the tail of the tape. We can't see this one out. We've settled for so many field goals. Outstanding job from the New Orleans Saints defense. Nick Mullins is their quarterback. Wasn't the flashiest, but we got our first playoff victory. Justin Fields era, 223 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. 92 yards from Montgomery, solid. 58 yards, touchdown. Allen Robinson, 82 yards. Darnell Mooney. Defensively, 10 tackles. Robert Quinn making some plays. For some reason, Nichols, Hicks, and Rhodes getting sacks. Josh Sweat, 2 TFL. Okay, not bad at all. I'll take that. Playoff victory in the books. We kind of went a little too far ahead here. We got right in this. We made the playoffs. We got a little antsy. We didn't even look at the stats. And this is what made me look and say, 15-2. Green Bay, 15-2. It looks like it's going to be in a goddamn blizzard. Let's look at our stats real quick. What did what? Justin Fields, very good this year. 3,800 yards, 34 touchdowns, 9 picks. 1,300 yards, 20 touchdowns for David Montgomery. Absolutely feasting in our scheme. 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns. Allen Robinson, 9-5 for Kirk. 7-7 Kmet, 5-10 for Mooney. I will say right now, at least for this small sample size of me really going into franchise mode, does not seem like there's the slot wide receiver sim cheese just yet. Roquan Smith, big year, 136 tackles. Got 5 picks to his name. 6.5 sacks, Hicks. 6 for Rhodes. 6 from Josh Sweat. Okay. I'm not hating these numbers. 3 picks, Garyon Conley. 2 for the rookie Peters. Also had 121 tackles for him. What did the dude we moved from safety linebacker do? Nance. Okay, 63 tackles. Very quick look at the yearly awards here. Lamar Jackson is our MVP, our first non-running back to win an MVP award in this save. Obviously, you went Saquon Barkley, Fred Warner, Nelson Smith. Arion Peters is the defensive rookie of the year. I feel like that might be the only bear, and that's annoying, that Jordan Love was solely responsible for this outstanding Green Bay Packers season. All right. I don't want our playoff run to end now, but looks like the Packers are really on one this season. Okay, they're wearing the flashback retro uniforms. It's going to be a snowy game. Usually a team that can run the ball the best wins in the snow. And looking at the stats, this was a team of Green Bay. They moved to the beat of Jordan Love's drum. And you look at our stats, I mean, we had good quarterback play. And David Montgomery, there's 20 touchdowns. So, could come down to David Montgomery against Aaron Jones. I mean, I probably would give Green Bay the edge for the offensive line. They got Bakhtiari, Elton Jenkins. They're all solid. We're a work in progress on the O-line here. Both defenses keeping it tight. Get the touchdown there. 3 points into the fourth quarter. Anybody's game. They get the touchdown. We go for fourth down. Don't get it. I mean, I'm proud of our guys this season. It's not looking great. And you go up against a team in Green Bay. 2 losses on the year. You lose by a field goal. It's never good. There's no such thing as a bad loss. All right, let's be honest. But, you know, optimism. Optimism going forward. 239 yards, 3 touchdowns. No picks for Justin Fields. 67 yards touchdown Montgomery. 90 yards and a tutty for Kirk. 50 and a tutty Mooney. Cole Kmet also chipped in with a touchdown. 13 tackles Roquan Smith. Second half Rhodes. Sack for Hicks. Pick for Peters. You know, at least as we gear up for year 4, this Chicago Bears team absolutely is at minimum trending in the right direction for being a perennial playoff contender. Before we head to the offseason, you know, pack out the lockers. So see the depth traits, and I'm very happy to see this. First and foremost, Justin Fields got himself the dev trait increase, so he is now a superstar, which is fitting, and hopefully will take his game to the next level. Christian Kirk went from star to superstar, which I'm happy to see. Defensively, Presley, who we're waiting to see what his dev trait was. It's a star, kind of unfortunately, but he's still fairly solid. Josh Sweat went from star to superstar, which is great, considering it almost felt like a consolation prize signing him. Roquan up to an X Factor. What's his X Factor ability? Is that what we want on a rock? Momentum shift. I mean, that's momentum shift is pretty cool. Avalanche is what you want, but we put I think reinforcement's probably gonna be the best one for him for the time being. But as we are gearing up, we went on a playoff run, so we kind of withheld the contracts here of Goldman and Hicks. I think we gotta make the decision here. Do we want Hicks? Do we want Goldman? I figure we just go Presley. I mean, 310 pounds. That's probably the entry level. Like, that's as small as you can have a nose tackle, and even that is undersized for sure. But it's only like 10 pounds less than Goldman, so I think we'll re-sign Hicks, and then we'll go with Presley going forward as our nose tackle, and then have a little bit of money left over to improve the squad for year 4. Super Bowl here in year 3 goes to the Chiefs, 27-24 at Clyde Edwards-Helaire, getting the Super Bowl MVP. All right, we'll give our final offer to Hicks. Offer Hicks first. If he declines it, we could still go after Eddie Goldman. Let's see if Eddie Goldman will take a 1 year, because then we could shift one of the other two to the defensive end. They're actually both flipping me off. So as we go to free agency and the draft, quick primer, what do we need? I mean, potentially there's a big upgrade on the right-hand side of the offensive line that we can't pass up. Sure. Running back 2, if there's an affordable one. But more so on the defensive side, it's the D-line. We need a defensive end. Probably another corner. I mean, our corners aren't bad, but like maybe another game changer back there. But other than that, man, not a lot of holes. That's what happens when you draft well. And looking at free agency, I mean, we have money. I just, I'm against spending money just because you have money to spend. Looking at spots we could get better. Corner, bunch of short-term options. I'm thinking just to be super competitive next season, like you grab one of these guys. But is it really going to hinder the development of your own? Like let's get Gilmore. We'll try just to see for one season. I mean, if it doesn't work, then we can regroup and go all in yet again, right? This money's no good. If it's all it's not long-term contracts. Look, we can't even get Gilmore. What about? There's no bids on Bradbury. 1-year deal. Throw it on James Bradbury. Rest of the offers, not. We got Moreau for tight end 2. Fletcher Cox would be a cool one because I can kick him in the defensive end. It'd be intriguing. He hasn't been a 3-4 defensive end since early on when he was with like Chip Kelly years. So we'll see between him, Bradbury, get 2 veterans on the defense and get some tight end depth, and again, just kill the draft. Nice. 2 straight playoff appearances will do that. Get guys that want to chase rings to buy into your program. Get all of our targets. We got another outstanding draft board with a bunch of first-round grade players outside of the first round. 2 free safeties here. Eddie Jackson's not getting any younger. This guy's looking like the guy I'm going to pick, Derek Tucker. Corner, mid-first, just because, if there's a chance that we can get a dev trait corner, that's kind of what we're lacking just a little bit. But look at this guy, second-rounder, first-round talent on the D-line. Be happy to get him. Guy straight up didn't attend the combine, mid-first round. Marlon Mills would be a 3-4 defensive end. A couple really nice wide receivers and running backs. Need that RB2 to complement David Montgomery. So plenty of options, but I still think the biggest thing right now, maybe we can get a hidden dev trait corner. So Derek Tucker, UCLA, you're our guy. Hidden depth. Let's go. 75. Number 17 true value. Get him at 25. 91 speed, 95 acceleration, 77 man, 86 jumping. You know, pretty typical looking build, but I love the depth trait. All right, I think now... Both those guys are late first. I think now I'm going to... Might grab this running back. He's early first round running back. I mean, he gets, we don't have any crazy needs. 76 overall, Johnny Bayer, Washington State. They love running the football there. I mean, maybe now that they're not doing air raid, but 5 in true value. Let's go. 93 speed, 94 accelerate. This guy's actually sick. Yes. Another good pick. Surprise, surprise. We finished with the draft. It was solid. I mean, nothing really worth showcasing. At a 69 normal D end, 72 normal middle linebacker, which actually that's pretty good value in the 4th round. Then a 68 corner, and then my scouting board got completely broken into bits and pieces, so I traded out for future draft picks. 4 for the Chicago Bears, we're looking at making it a hat trick. 3 straight seasons with the playoffs. Squad is as good as it's ever been. Offensively, everything remains the same. We own all the dev traits for Fields. That's huge. I'm excited to see him take his game to the next level. I'm surprised Montgomery hasn't gone up dev trait. He's been probably the most consistent player on the offensive side of the ball. But the fact that he's been consistent and hasn't gone up a dev trait, it's fine. Because 91 star, if you're giving me 20 touchdowns every year, you remain just that star dev trait, right? Defensively, a little bit different now. No more, Eddie Goldman. No more Akeem Hicks. But we have Presley, who's a beast, and we bring in Fletcher Cox, who's one of the most underrated defensive linemen in the NFL. We got James Bradbury, more of a veteran. Like him and Cox are 1 years. They're here to try to take us over the edge this season. Not quite a Super Bowl or bust scenario. If you're new to the channel, Super Bowl or bust essentially means in these rebuilds, year 4 and year 5, might as well spend as much salary cap as you can because you can't bring it with us when the video is over. So then we just, I try to keep things as realistic as I can when making signings. Year 5, maybe not so much if we haven't won a Super Bowl yet. Dev traits gone out for a bunch of... I mean, this team's stacked. This team is absolutely stacked, and it'll be incredibly disappointing with anything less than double-digit wins and a playoff berth here in year 4. Well, it's a midway point of the season, just showing you the little upgrades that we're going to make to our staff here. One thing that has been interesting, which might bite us in the old rear end here coming up, is we haven't had any of our coordinators poached from us yet. We haven't had to deal with just losing progress on anything. It's all been, easy peasy. We do what we want. And honestly, I'm going to save my points for one of these abilities. We are drafting X Factors, not X Factors, but hidden depth players now again. And we can utilize this. We've seen enough ability. But point being, we haven't lost a staff member. And I don't know. I'm going to be pretty upset. Because it's literally, that's what happens in the NFL. You're never happy when you lose someone like that. Frank Reich with the Eagles. But it's the nature of the beast here. So when we look at our squad, I think it's very important. Okay, well, it's very important to get guys that we absolutely need for year 5. And we're going to start with a $134 million offer to Justin Fields. Got him locked on. I think Christian Kirk has been exceptional, vital, pivotal piece of our offense. Let's get that business done. I don't think I really want to replace Eddie Jackson at this point. So we'll hold on to him. He's not going to regress too bad in one season. Tevin Jenkins has been more than solid for us at left tackle. I did sign Michael Dixon last minute, just as a free agent. I don't know, punters were still there, but we need a punter. Punters are people too. Josh Sweat, now a superstar. Might as well keep that ability there at edge rush. We got Goggles at kicker, much like Dixon. These are just signings that I made. I didn't have a punter or kicker on the roster. And he has Goggles now. Let's go. Eagles bias. I think I do want to keep Jordan Mailata on the offensive line. My God, we are just throwing money away. Back in the Brinks truck up here, extending players. Whitehair, again, you pretty much, given the fact that we're using generated classes and it's not the new scouting, which hopefully will also bring in new classes, you pretty much, this is something that I maintained last year, just ride your good offensive lineman into the ground because it's going to be incredibly difficult to replace them in the draft. And they're probably going to be like the top guys in the respective position if they're already a starter for you, if you think you're going to wait till free agency. So, given the fact for Bradbury and Fletch in particular, I'm going to wait till the end of the season because these guys were essentially mercenaries to try to help us here in year 4. And if they do well and we go on a run and we're geared ready for year 5, I might extend them at the last little negotiation window at the end of the year. And at the end of year 4, terrific record of 13-4, but not good enough for the 1 seed. A 13-win 2 seed. How good were the Niners? Trey Lance going off. It's another rebuild that's going to be very interesting. I just want to see, though. What were they? Okay. Okay, they got us by a win. 9-game winning streak to end the year, so a lot of momentum there for Shanahan and all those guys. Well, let's look at our stats here. How well did we perform very quickly? Justin Fields, baby. 3,800 yards, 48 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Sensational. 1,300 yards, 14 touchdowns. David Montgomery, which is just very nice. It makes me happy. Wide receiver ones playing like wide receiver ones in a sim. Thank God they got this right. 1,000 yards, 11 touchdowns for Allen Robinson, 800 yards, 12 tutties for Kirk, 8 and 10 Komet, 6 and 6 for Moody's probably been the only guy that's been slightly underwhelming, but I'm not even gonna complain because Allen Robinson's been so good. Nance, he was a safety that we converted to linebacker, led the team in tackles, actually beating Roquan Smith. But look at that for Roquan. We'll get to that in 1 second. 10.5 sacks, Juan Presley. 9.5 for Fletcher Cox, which is really good. Those are actually probably the 2 of the best sack numbers we've had so far in this rebuild. So I would say Fletcher Cox doing a pretty good job at me throwing him some money to try to get him here for year 5. Sweat 7.5, Nichols 7, Rhodes with 6. He's been a little underwhelming considering, I mean, you don't want to give him that pressure, but he was the guy that we got right after Khalil Mack retired. Khalil Mack retired in year 1. I still can't come to terms. Roquan Smith, 8 interceptions. Very happy to see that. Outstanding. They should be like Defensive Player of the Year. Very quick look at yearly awards. MVP went to McCaffrey. That's his 2nd MVP award. Justin Fields finally making this list at number 6. For the NFC Offensive Player of the Year went to McCaffrey. Fields was actually the runner-up there. Defensive Player of the Year went to Hassan Riddick. Roquan Smith was the runner-up. Fields' best quarterback. I like seeing that. Allen Robinson's best wide receiver with Christian Kirk at number 2. This offense is a prolific, a boy. James Daniels, number 9 on the O-line. Linebacker, okay. Roquan probably should have been the number 1 linebacker, if I'm going to be honest. Or give him number 1 DB, because he had 8 picks, okay? So the least you could do. But very good team success. I'm liking the sim numbers a little bit more than what we had in Madden's past. I'm glad they kind of got that right. Little cheese, 13 and 4 is not the 1 seed, didn't get the bye. Looks like we're getting ready to play in a blizzard. But it's year 4 or 5. Still going to let the sim try to do its thing before it's year 5. I'm going to hop in and get some action with Justin Fields and company. All right, let's go. That's that dude. That's that dude. Justin Fields, 2 touchdowns, passing shy of 50 on the year. What can he do against Christian McCaffrey, 2-time MVP, and the Carolina Panthers? Looking like a good start. We strike blood. You know, they got the field goal. We got the touchdown. That's all that matters. Touchdown first. That looked like a red zone turnover for us. Defense is on full display here, but I like our defense more than I like their defense. I got Brian Burns. He's nice. You know, Jerry Chin's nice. But we're holding McCaffrey and company to 6 points going into the 4th quarter. Outstanding job from the Chicago Bears defense. I mean, there's no other way. If we're going to go on a run, be it this year or next year, it wouldn't feel right, even with Justin Fields, to not win with like really, really good defense. So the Bears winning the wild card, 24-13. They have Jameis Winston, okay. And Fields was not his best performance. 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. 55 yards, touchdown, Montgomery. Christian Kirk, 69 yards, nice. Robinson had a decent game. Defensively, though, this is where it was getting the job done. 2 sacks, Presley, 1 from Fletch. Pick from Arion Peters, who's unreal. Probably our best pick so far, as the Chicago Bears are moving on. Division round, we got Dallas. You know me. Anytime we can hop in, beat Dallas, we're gonna be excited at that opportunity. Oh man, presentation's on point this year, fellas. Happy with it. Now let's get the sim for me to be happy with. Let's beat Dallas. Let's get. We've got over the hurdle of getting our first playoff victory with Justin Fields. Now we need to get our first NFC Championship game. Baby steps, building up to year 5. Good start though. 16 zip, missed the extra point. Goggles, got to do a better job there, man. Can't give Dallas an inch on anything with the playmakers that they have. But 19-7 into the second half. Dallas gets the first touchdown. But we're going right down the field. Want a touchdown here. Settle for a field goal. 22-14 in the 4th quarter. Dak Prescott, Justin Fields. Who wants it more? Points for Chicago. It's looking good, man. This defense, the addition of Fletcher Cox, the addition of James Bradbury, paying immediate dividends. I don't think we get those guys. We're winning these games because it's our defense that's keeping us in the sim. 270, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. Justin Fields, 97 yards for Montgomery. It's a revenge game. The Dallas Cowboys sent us packing last year. Here we go, man. Allen Robinson, good game. Cole Kmet, huge game. 8 catches, 114 yards. Touchdown for Kirk, 2. 10 tackles for Johnson. Second half, Josh Sweat, sack for Presley. No interceptions, but the defense just wasn't giving up many points to Dallas. And the Chicago Bears, in year 4, going to the NFC Championship game. The conference championship game is against the 1 seed. Fitting. We get to see who the best team in the NFC is. Doesn't get better than that. The 85 overall Niners, 89 overall Bears. What's going on here? How are the Niners pulling the best record? Warner, Bosa, Kittle, okay, Armstead, Trey Lance is a superstar, Debo, Dre Greenlaw, still got Trent Williams protecting the blind side. It's a good team. It's a good team, but we're a little bit better. All right, on the road, there comes Trey Lance. That's what you want, though. You know, you got the rookies, you got the big-time rookies in the NFC. People want to see who the best is. And Trey Lance gets first on the board, 3 points. Joey Sly, all right, huge leg on him. First touchdown goes to the Niners as well. We get the field goal back, but it's not looking good, man. Niners defense pretty much suffocating us. I don't think we've had a whole lot of play in their half, but then we get the touchdown there. 13-10. Going back and forth again, though, you can see it. Like the additions that we made on the defensive side of the ball, like we haven't got blown out yet. And that's obviously knock on wood because the Niners are very much pulling ahead right now. We're going to need a borderline miracle. Ooh. Borderline miracle, can we get it? That's back-to-back years the best teams beat us. We lost to the Packers when they were outstanding, like a 2-loss team. We lose to the 1 seed Niners. Fields was not particularly good. It wasn't bad. I mean, better than Trey Lance. 82 yards Montgomery, 100 yards Christian Kirk. Defensively, you know, we got 1 sack from Fletcher Cox, Bolden, and Roquan there with interceptions, but you know what they say. You want something done right, gotta do it yourself. Year 5's coming up. Get old Papa C4 on the sticks. End of the year. Terms of upgrades, nothing too crazy here. I guess we will try to extend Fletcher Cox. But oh, hey, Justin Fields, superstar X Factor. Let's go. Running gun ability very much suits his playstyle, suits my playstyle when we hop in here. So I'm happy with that. Last thing I want to do is just hit up Fletch, throw him a couple bucks, run it back. And oh yeah, we still probably have $40 million on additional salary cap. We're going to make some moves to put this team over the top to win that Super Bowl in year 5. The season recap, though, hey, at least the Niners lost, I suppose. Chiefs win again, 28-16. I think that's their second Super Bowl here. A.J. Dillon, moving on for the Packers, getting himself a Super Bowl MVP. Before the window opens, I want to at least throw a $16.5 million. Okay. So in the free agency, just spend it if you got it. I don't want to go just super Gilmore's here, he'd be an upgrade, but then I'd be like, oh well, if I win it might be an asterisk next to that Super Bowl. I'm spending all my money, but I got it. I'm just gonna offer it to him. If I feel like it's the first rebuild of Madden 22. If I don't do everything within my power to try and win a Super Bowl, am I even doing this right? So let's offer Gilmore 1 year, 18 mil. So we're first for Gilmore, first for Fletcher Cox, first for Zach Martin. Come on. Let's make a super team. They do it in the NBA all the time. Call me LeBron. LeBron Nagy. All right, we got Zach Martin. We got the one guy out of the 3 that we didn't really need. We lose on Fletcher Cox, only a 4-point downgrade if we can land to it, who also is very much a scheme fit for our defense. Not a bad consolation prize. For our final draft, most of these guys aren't going to play. That's why I didn't sim it, but there's no real, you don't need a high asset. You don't need a showboat with the draft. Got a couple good picks here. Got a hidden dev corner, 68. We got a 75 center. A good lineman. This is it. Year 5 for the Chicago Bears. Justin Fields. The entirety of the squad that we've built. A very, very good team. I think this is an excellent first rebuild, given what we've been able to do. We've been able to grow and develop talent. Rebuilds either go one of 2 ways. Either you draft well, or you draft badly, and you got to make a lot of trades. And luckily, we'd have to get past the first option. We've drafted very well. Offensive line, we got Tevin Jenkins, 84, Daniels, 86, Whitehair still hanging on, 79, bringing Zach Martin just cuz, Super Bowl or bust. Mailata's been solid. Komet's been solid. Kirk's 90 up to a superstar, so he's developed, taking his game to another level. Mooney's been okay. He's probably actually been the only underwhelming guy, I think, on the offense. Robinson got his X factor. Fields got his X factor. Then Montgomery just automatic double, 10, 15 touchdowns every year. Defensively, we brought in Tuitt. Pretty good second option. Fallback plan from Fletcher Cox here. He's 87, Presley 88, Nichols 88. Rest of the front seven, Josh Sweat's gone up to a superstar since he's been here. Nance and Smith. Obviously, Roquan is a beast. We got Rhodes, who's solid. Secondary, Eddie Jackson still doing his thing, 85 star. Peters, 89 superstar. I don't think we have anyone on the offensive side of the ball. No, Peters has been, all right, that's the pace car. The pace car has been set. This is the template of, from now on, anytime, any rebuild, we get really, really juicy-looking players. It's got to stack up this. Are they better than Arion Peters? And I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of guys that are better. Jalen Johnson, 91 superstar, definitely developed very, very nicely for us. That could be probably the one spot, though. You could say, maybe we need another game changer at corner. But I think that's still good enough. 91, 81, you got a 79 star. I think they'll be fine. I think they'll just be fine. It helps as well when Roquan Smith is chipping in with 8 interceptions on any given year. So year 5, let's get on that playoff run. Let's get on the sticks. And let's bring a Super Bowl back to the city of Chicago. Let's do it. Just had a big-time victory over the Dallas Cowboys, and Christian Kirk got himself superstar X Factor. Maybe that's the missing piece on the offense. Having one X Factor on one side with Allen Robinson, one in the slot with Christian Kirk, got the speedster and Mooney on the other side. Maybe, just maybe. Our offense has been pretty good anyways, but maybe this is what we need to get 50-plus touchdowns with Justin Fields in the sim here in year 5. I guess we just have a team that's allergic to the first-round bye. 13 wins again, and the Chicago Bears are the 2 seed. Panthers did enough. It's 1. It'd be nice to know when it's not. But hey, I get to go on the sticks, man. The more games go on the sticks, the better. I'm probably going to just... I don't want to say probably just, because we could lose this one to Minnesota and not have an opportunity. Maybe we'll play pop. I think we just kind of play the moments and we hop in. That's probably best, because I don't need to play every single game on the Super Bowl run. Might taint the victory if we get a Super Bowl victory. For the stat points, pretty much for year 5, I went out and maxed out all of the trees that I could. That gives us abilities that can help us right away. Like this one here, that's more long-term for staff mods. So we committed to the full trees here in an OC, DC standpoint. With all the boosts, this team is rip-roaring, ready to go on a very, very deep playoff run. NFC North champs, I think that's our 3rd NFC North title, which is pretty good. Quick look at the stats. Justin Fields, very good. 2nd in passing yards, 1st in touchdowns, 4,100 yards, 45 tutties to 5 interceptions. We have 1,200 yards, 13 touchdowns. David Montgomery, he's been just amazing. Receiving, 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns. Allen Robinson, 1,100 yards, 19 touchdowns for the new superstar X Factor, premier slot wide receiver in the NFL, and Christian Kirk. What a free agency signing he was. 8-5 for Komet, 550 and 5 for Mooney. Really? At the end of this rebuild, the only guy I was a little bit, I don't even say disappointed, because everyone else, at least we had someone else doing really good, but the only guy specifically from an individual standpoint, a little disappointed would be Mooney. Thought he could have definitely done a little bit better, or would have done a little bit better. Roquan Smith, elite, 140 tackles, 4 sacks, 5 interceptions, 7.5 sacks. Josh Sweat. Sacks definitely down a little bit here. Don't like seeing that. 4 picks, Jalen Johnson. Happy with these numbers. Yearly awards, MVP went to Christian. That's his 3rd. Cavalry, 3 MVPs. Justin Fields coming in at number 6. Coach of the Year went to Matt Rule. Nagy at 4. Quick look at the rest of the awards. My God, that Panthers team looks like a juggernaut. QB is Justin Fields. Wide receiver is Christian Kirk. O-lineman goes to Zach Martin. Kind of our mercenary that we signed here. Year 5 Super Bowl or bust. Man, the Panthers look scary. And that's been what we haven't been able to trump. We can go in playoff. We've gone in playoff runs. But as soon as we come against that 1 seed, they've kind of, clapped our cheeks a little bit. So we start this playoff run. Divisional rival game. Number, I don't even know what they are for the seed. They would have been 7 seed, I think. The 7 seed, 9-8. Minnesota Vikings. Okay. Could be a good game to come in and just play, because I have not had a whole lot of time since the beta, so it's been a month-ish. How long has it been since the beta? So I'm sure that this gameplay is going to be S tier, and you guys are most likely, if you're stopping by for the first time, haven't subscribed, you're going to see my gameplay and be like, how's this guy not pro? Okay, we're going to play the moments here. I'm not nervous about my gameplay. I think I'm more nervous that this game, for whatever reason, the sim gets it out of hand, and I kind of like sabotage hopping in and like kind of going to work here a little bit. Well, let's see. Like we'll come in if things get a little shenanigan-y. So far, both teams trading, haymakers, opening field goals for each. Because I just don't want to have to like play every game for this team to win a Super Bowl because this team is Super Bowl caliber. Like this time, like I should be able to kick my feet up for the wild card and divisional round, and then like get a little sit up in my seat and pay a little bit more attention in the championship game and obviously the Super Bowl. So we have a 10-point lead here. Back-to-back scores for Minnesota. So now it's ample time to come on in. 3rd and 7. Let's go. Hey, the number one thing I want to do here is we are going to want to see how fast Justin Fields is. Like, how fast does he really feel here? I know he doesn't have escape artist. Oh, I don't. Why is it so like zoomed out? Oh, we'll go to Mooney. Mooney gets the big time first down. I'll take that. Let's go, man. Keep on keeping on. 3rd down. They keep the drive going. Back-to-back 3rd down conversions. Get the touchdown to go up 10. All right. Close this game out. Just close it out. And they do it. Thank you very much. 27-20. On the back of 3 touchdowns here from Justin Fields. Drew Lock. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Buck 20. David Montgomery. 2 touchdowns. Robinson. 1 for Christian Kirk. Defensively, 2 sacks to it. 1 from Dakota Brooks. Sure. Jalen Johnson with the interception. Happy with all this. Bears moving on. We got Dallas. 88. What do we got? 86 overall against 90 overall. I still feel like we could sim this, or at least play the moments. Maybe we need to play more moments than we did last week. Looking at Dallas real quick. Zeke, Mary Cooper, Dak, Tyron, Tank, Justin Tucker, Johnny Hecker. They went all in on special teams. But there's no way I'm in my first rebuild losing to Dallas. Man, it's like one of those things. You get the Morgan Freeman, and then he lost to Dallas. Snow game. I already hate it. What are the odds Dallas is wearing white uniforms? What are the odds? I should have went in there for sure. Get the touchdown. Ensured the touchdown. 3rd down, we're coming in. And of course, it's always... And I hate running in this game. I'm not very good. The one aspect of... Okay, first of all, every time in Madden history I play a snow game, the other team's wearing white. Another thing is I'm just not great yet at running the ball in this game. I would say that for people coming over from not next gen to next gen, I know everyone's saying it's slower and stuff like that, but the run game, in my opinion, is like the biggest. I'm not saying it's bad or good. It's just the most different from not next gen. A lot of field goals here. Dallas got a safety. This is a very weird game, but in a goddamn blizzard, you never know. We hold Dallas to a safety and a field goal for almost... Well, we do it. All right, they get a touchdown there late, but we also get our touchdown. And this is looking very good for the Bears. Does not look like the improvements that Dallas made by strictly investing their salary cap in special teams is going to get them over the hump. Maybe next year, Dallas fans. It's the Bears' year, man. Another great performance from Justin Fields. 3 touchdowns, no turnovers yet in the playoffs. 100 yards for Montgomery, 86 yards, 2 tutties for Kirk. 66 and a tutty for Mr. Allen Robinson. We got a couple sacks, 2 from Brooks, 2 from Tuitt, 2 from Josh Sweat, pick from Peters. Let's go, the Bears are championship bound. Conference championship week, we have the 9-8 Seattle Seahawks. Take a gander. What's under the hood there? Still got Dangerous. Jordan Brooks is an X Factor. Jamal Adams, Bobby Wags, DK. Creative guy, Brandon Betts at strong safety. Trying to recreate the Legion of Boom here. Okay. I feel, again, confident with the sim. At least, if we can beat Dallas, we should be able to handle them. 10-point overall difference. It's not like the sim has weird things to make the better team lose more often than not, right? All right, let's go. Again, I'm kind of good to, if we have to play more than I would, like to ensure that we at least make the Super Bowl. I will do that here today. So if we already go down 2 scores, I'm pretty much going to take over the sticks for the remainder of this game. 7-7. Seattle gets the next touchdown. They're starting to pile on here just a little bit, but the Bears able to go right down the field, tied up. Ooh, instant touchdown from Seattle. Ooh, they get 2 scores here. Oh, there we go. Oh, no. That was great. All right. This is... Why is it snowing? Okay, you got to let me get back in here. Down 2... Okay, they get the score. Get it to stop, D. Get a stop. Let's go. This is my moment. This is my moment. Okay. We got all of our timeouts. It's a snow game against a team in a white jersey. Okay. This happens every time. Let's put him on skates. All right, let's start with this. Let's put him on skates. We'll start with Fields. He feels pretty good. Knowing that I don't think he has escape artist. I feel like I would have noticed that. He moves pretty good for a QE without escape artist. Boom. Got and out of bounds, close to midfield, Allen Robinson. Feels good, man. Game looks good. There we go. Cole Kmet. A lot of traffic there. Gets the first down. Brought down by Jamal Adams. Kind of dumb play call. But when you got a great athlete like this, that's what you do. When we go to Allen Robinson. 30-yard gain. Let's burn a timeout here. No rush. 2nd and 10. Robinson in the slot. A lot of Robinson in the slot for a guy that's not our primary slot. Okay, we're going to scramble again. Oh, that's a...
Ooh, you suck.
All right, I got 3rd and 14. I got the game audio back on. Another mulligan. Oh, diving pick. Can I fair catch this? Oh, and that's extra over! Well, the side of me that's frustrated. There's a side of me that says our defense, if we were simming that, if our defense gives up 35, they got no points off that turnover. I don't want to say we probably don't win this game if we just straight up sim it. But, you know, to go from Khalil Mack retiring in year number 1 to, you know, 1-score Super Bowl on the line, it's not over. You know, this is only still the beginning of this Bears team. We still have a whole bunch of salary cap left, even though we went Super Bowl or bust. Still another year in here. God damn it. So close. See, that's the toughest thing, man. You look around, like, no one really plays gameplay in rebuilds. And there's a reason why, because, like, that's not really the point. The point, you lose all, like, I built this team, watch them win a Super Bowl when you're, like, just too hands-on-y. But I'm going to do another rebuild here. That you guys, it's probably going to be out in a day or so while I got this build. I got some other stuff I got to do. It's going to be the Jags. I'm winning that Super Bowl. No, I'm not going 0-2 in my, like, C4s, hooking, like, giving you some nice sneak peeks at franchise mode and watch them go 0-2 trying to win a Super Bowl. I mean, we had a juggernaut. We made the Bears do a juggernaut. We made Justin Fields. I mean, it's not super overpowered. You take away that +4. He's 93 overall X factor. That's great, but it's not like he's 99. Wasn't, you know, there's quarterback. He's a top 5-ish quarterback right now. It wasn't like we had him come over this, you know, and just take the league over by storm. Even though he's exceptional. Through 5 years, those are his stats. 193 touchdowns, only 43 picks. Very protective of the football. He's getting MVP for sure on the offense side of the ball. But Montgomery, so consistent, man. This guy here was automatic. Felt like 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns every single year. So shout out Montgomery. Robinson was dope. Kirk was excellent. Definitely the free agency signing of this rebuild. Kmet and Moody, yeah, maybe slightly underwhelming, but not too bad. Defensively, Roquan, absolute beast. Over 1,000 tackles on his career right now. 26 picks, which is absolutely absurd. No one really had, like, big sack numbers or anything. Then we got Demarius Rhodes after. I mean, like, I'm gonna leave this rebuild being like, how did Khalil Mack retire in year one? Like, we were so bad year one that the franchise guy, Khalil Mack, just went, yeah, I'm hanging him up. And like, I still don't know how I feel about that. On one hand, I think, you know, why is it gonna be that extreme? Like, why is it straight up retirement? He's only 30. Like, maybe you have like that scenario be like he demands a trade request and he's not gonna play, like a holdout kind of thing. Not straight up just remove him from the league. But then there's the other side of me that's like, that's the kind of chaos that Madden's been missing. You know, things like that can happen. It's like plausible. That guys are like, you know, may not be straight up, we suck, I'm retiring, but ask Lion fans what's that's like with Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson. I mean, hey, it's how fitting. C4 hops in, gets on the sticks. I mean, moves the ball in a couple games, but it ends with a pick, man. What else were you expecting? But that is it, man. That is our first in the books Madden 22 rebuild here with the Chicago Bears. Made them into a juggernaut, man. 92 offense, 88 defense, 90 overall. Developed Justin Fields, developed the squad, and showed off a little bit of Madden 22, what Madden 22 has to offer. I can say, from this being my first rebuild, like I haven't even recorded a rebuild, like not for a video, just to test things out. This is my first full playthrough. It's going to be a good year for franchise. It's gonna, you know, I'm still feeling it out to give it, like, you know, I'm not ready to give my full review yet or anything like that. But I could tell instantly. Like, I knew instantly within like 10, 15 minutes of playing Madden 21, it's going to be a stinker. And 10, 15 minutes of playing this, one full rebuild into playing this, definitely an up year for Madden franchise. And I really can't wait till the scouting comes in September. But this is your Chicago Bears rebuild. And I'm sure, you know, how I'm planning on doing rebuilds this year is I need some time to create the custom draft classes. So I'm going to do rebuilds like this with, you know, we're going to get guys like, you know, Arion Peters. We're going to get guys like Nance. We're going to get guys like Presley. And then we're going to have a second swing through with these teams. Do the realistic rebuilds. Once I get, you know, 2, 3, 4 draft classes up and ready. I'm on Xbox this year. So I think that's how I'm going to approach it. And obviously we'll have franchise content coming sooner than later. I don't know, you know, when and if I'm going to be dropping the news on that, but it will be coming soon. The only reason why on this build right here, nothing's carrying over to when I actually get the game myself. So I don't want to start any franchise or anything like that because it's poof, it's going to be gone. But yeah, Jags rebuild will be coming out soon. That's my, I would say, 2 days, maybe in a day or so. I'm not doing back-to-back rebuild days, but thank you very much for watching. It's going to be a big year here on the channel for Madden 22. If it's your first time stopping by, please, please, please hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. It's free. Thumbs up. Very much helps the channel. Very much helps the videos. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching, and peace out.